Now, the opposite of the prodigal son would be what? The prodigal daughters, except they didn't really get an inheritance unless they were Job's daughters anyway, afterwards. If you understand what I mean, right? You know, that's the only thing Job changed in his behavior after he saw the Lord, I guess, right? Whoever Elihu was, right? I don't know who that was, right? But anyway. Well, the prodigal daughters would also go into the cities and become prostitutes or strippers, or on the other hand, right, to make money, right, just like the prodigal son did, right. And see, you're still hoping, right, that your children come back to their senses one day, right? And that's kind of what Jesus is trying to teach you that you're doing with Satan when you sin with him, right? Right. You become prodigal sons and daughters like even Adam and Eve, right? In Eden, and you don't know the Lord anymore or yourself, right? You become ashamed of what you did with the devil, and it's hard for you to repent, right? Because see, the difference between waiting for your wife and just accepting any woman that comes along is, again, you gotta wait for her. You don't know who she is or where she could be. Right? Only that you hope she's out there somewhere, you know, like the song, right? Somewhere out there, someone said a prayer that we'll find wonder in that great somewhere out there. And that's part of the point, right? Right. See, the female can get just as confused as the male, right? Right. If you got prodigal sons, you also got prodigal daughters out there too, right? And that's why Jesus would have to die, right? To cover the sons and the daughters, right? You think only men sin? That's another point, right? You're not understanding the body of Jesus, right? And why he would also have to be physically both to represent the sins of both, right? To make us one with God again, right? Because see, God's just the spirit that made both bodies, right? However, it did so from one into two, right? I know. See, you can't see what Adam looked like with Eve in him still, right? We're not it anymore, man. Right? Men. You don't look how Adam looked in Eden, by the way, before evil was taken out of him. You were changed physically. Physically. I know. From one into two, right? That's kind of blowing your mind, I think, a little bit. Especially if you had sex with Satan and he kind of did you wrong in the butt. Use the French there. That kind of messed us up. Right? Both Adam and Eve, right? Now, it went Satan with Eve first, probably vagina and then butt, right? Then Adam with Satan, vagina and butt, and then Adam's butt. but when it got to the butt, Satan wouldn't let him stop, you know what I mean? You kind of made him do it, even if you don't want to do it anymore. And that's where the shame comes in. And you understand? Right? If you change your mind and you halfway through it, you done started it, and Delic gonna let you stop. Uh-oh. You were warned too. You were warned, don't do this, don't do this. He won't let you stop once you do. He gonna finish. He gonna finish. And you gonna wish you hadn't done it. Feel ashamed. Right. You also committed adultery with another man's husband and wife, right? Though they were one, too. They were one, too. How do you think the hermaphroditic gene got in people, right? It's not a figment of our imagination, Christians, Muslims, and Jews, right? There are people really born that way, so there must be an outside influencer, right? Being Satan and the Watchers and the fallen angels, right? Where the gene came from, right? Not that the child that is born of that union has to sin, right? Any more than the children of Adam and Eve have to sin anymore, right? We can all be forgiven through Christ's body, right? Saying the enmity between us all, right? Even the hermaphrodite, right? Can know peace through Jesus, right? And that's what it's for. Now, just because you focus more on the boys than the girls, again, means your head's still a little warped about that idea. Well, again, girls can sin too. Jews can sin too. Gentiles can sin too, right? Now, if something also wants you to kill you for your mistakes and not forgive you, right? That too is a bad idea according to Jesus. Forgive to be forgiven, he said, right? So that means no matter what somebody does to you, you're to try to forgive them, though you gotta work through what you're doing, right? If you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth, right? But someone's lying on you, you don't know they're lying on you or not, right? You don't know them, they don't know you, right? You got to remember that too. We're all human. We all have a memory loss, right? From the fall. We don't know who we are anymore, right? God had to tell Jeremiah, from the womb I knew you, fool. And even then, he had to kind of make him do what he wanted him to do, right? I know. Seems like too, right? He had to convince him, right? Well, that's kind of the point, right? Some of us need more convincing than others. And whoever that is, if that's you too, then you need convincing before you really understand it all, right? And he's willing to go the extra mile to save us all if he has to, right? But it still takes time, right? We're in the tribulation period where we have become fallen human beings, right? And that's a 10,000 year period. We only live less than 120 years, right? What do you think is going to happen, right? We're going to die before the 10,000 years is up anyway, normally, right? That's another reason why you got to be prepared if you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew or not, right? Because you're mortal now, right? We can all die. We can all die. Right. No one's immortal, but Jesus, right, can resurrect you from the dead if you believe you can raise from the dead, right? We're not saying that.